Man, all right. So, hey, man, it got hot. The phone got hot, so it was able to cool off. So, we gonna continue to what I was going into before I was interrupted. All right. So, we know Habakkuk 2:5. Esau, the so-called white man, gonna gather and heap unto himself all nations. Doing that by flocking to America. And what? Everybody learning the English language. Hey, everybody trying to get the US dollar. You know, it's more US dollars outside of America than within America. So one way or another, by many ways, people are being gathered and heaped into Esau the so-called white man. All right, so now that we know that, we just read Revelation 13-16. He gonna heap unto himself all people by the RFID microchip. Ultimately, um that's what it's getting to. Hey, because the dollar is failing. You know, people start to develop a mind of their own that they can think for themselves. Well, everybody is now being scattered away from Esau. Everybody trying to flee from this devil. Well, Esau gonna come with that digital token, the RFID microchip, and they gonna do what? They wanna Esau wanna implant everybody with that RFID chip. So ultimately, everybody gonna be in this perfection. Everybody who be deceived by the beast gonna be gathered and heaped together, lumped together by Esau's digital takeover in the form of the RFID microchip. That's why it says he calls it all, both small, great, rich, poor, free, and bond. So ain't nobody gonna be exempt from this microchip. And let's continue to see how he gonna enforce it. Well, that's verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, say if he'd have had to mark the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, so, well, you can be homeless forever and still live. Hey, or you could have a home but not have no food and water and die of starvation. So food and water is the most important necessity for life. So Esau said, that's why he said that nobody can buy or sell. Well, what they say, you don't work, you don't eat. So the main thing we working for is to survive, to nourish our bodies with food and water. So when it says that no man may buy or sell, say if he doesn't get the mark, well, we can replace some of those words with that no man may eat or drink unless he get the mark. So Esau pretty much cut off the food and water supply to the general public, but those who get the RFID microchip that be gathered together by his digital takeover, only those people will be authorized to go into the grocery stores. All right, but now, that's just showing. And also America is known as that big melting pot. So that's just showing that, you know, Esau, the Lord clearly divided up the nations, divided up all his creation, but Esau wants to lump everybody together. As a matter of fact, while we're here, I'ma actually jump to the Apocrypha real quick, because we can even see it back then. Now let me see. So I'm gonna sort of jump around real quick. So we gonna come back to Maccabees. All right, Maccabees 1 and 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. So even the Greeks, Esau's first time in power, he was trying to gather to himself all people and lump all people together. And how would these different people, different nationalities, be lumped together? It would be by his law. Well, that RFID microchip, he calls of all to get that RFID microchip. That's going to be a law. It's going to be written, legislation. It's going to go through court, through that whole process. It's going to be a law. All right, let's continue. That all should be one people. Oh, and this the point. That proves that Esau wants to lump everybody together by his laws. And that Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. Yup. So King Antiochus wanted everybody to leave their laws to follow the law of the Greeks. All right. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. So all the heathen agreed. So they was all being gathered lumped unto Esau, Habakkuk 2 and 5. But they had a problem getting the Jews to consent to the laws of the Greeks. But when we jump down to verse 50, it reads, "And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he should die." And that's no different than our Alpha microchip. That's why Revelation 13 and 15, "And whosoever would not worship the image of the beast will be put to death." Or more specifically, it said, "And he had power to give life into the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast will be killed." Let's continue. In the self same manner, rose he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. This is gonna play out by Esau sending our own people, the spokesmen of Israel, our so-called leaders and religious leaders. They're gonna send him to our neighborhoods to try to force us to get the RFID market chip. To what? To be gathered and joined to Esau's kingdom for good. Verse 52, "Then many of the people were gathered unto him." So yeah, many of the Jews began to gather unto King Antiochus in the Greek Empire. And again, how was they gathered? By them forgetting the law, statutes, and commandments that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua gave us, and they consented to the laws and the commandments of the king. So again, then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law. So everybody that forsook the law, statutes, and commandments, those were they that was gathered to King Antiochus. So Habakkuk 2 and 5, when it says he gathereth unto him all people, and heapeth unto him all nations, well, all people will be gathered by his ideologies, his philosophies, and his laws. But in his perfection, in this generation, all people gonna be gathered unto him by the RFID market chip. And what did we see? Everybody that was gathered was them that forsook the law. So when you gather unto Esau, you departing from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Now, when you get that RFID market chip, hey, those who don't believe in this truth, but also those who do believe. When you get the RFID market chip, you departing from the presence of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. That's why the Lord sent the word to be a spiritual sword to divide the people. The 1/3 from the 2/3, the sheeps from the goats. But that's not enough, because that's why Yahweh Shah said, those people worship me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. So people can speak a good game when it comes to this word, but Yahweh Shah gonna try all of us in that hour of temptation to see if we really gathered unto him, or if Esau can pull us back in by seducing us. Well, that's why the Lord is going to allow the RFID microchip to take place. That's another form of a spiritual sword to divide the people. That's going to divide the believers from the true elect. So, and we're going to show that this RFID chip is also a divider, a separator of the people. All right, so let me show that in the book of Revelation, chapter 14. So I'm gonna read 13 again, then we're gonna jump immediately to the next chapter. Revelation 13 to 16. Oh, forgive me. Let me get back there real quick. Revelation 13 and 16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So there's going to be a law to make that, to bring that into effect. There's going to be a penalty for not following the law We read Revelation 13 to 15. So, and when you take that, you're being joined unto Esau. You're being gathered and lumped together with all of the other heathen nations unto Esau, separated from yourself, from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Now, we're going to show that this mark is actually a divider or a separator to divide the sheep from the goats, going into judgment. All right, so now we're going to get Revelation 14. We're going to start at verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. So we see that opening statement is already being used to separate those who worship the beast, the image of the beast, and those who get the mark. That's why it says, if any man do either of these things. Let's continue. The same. So yeah, if any man do either of these things, get the mark, worship the beast, and the image of the beast, it says the same. Those same people shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So many other things that's going to come, but ultimately the greatest thing or the greatest affliction going to be that hour of temptation. That's going to truly separate the sheep from the goats, the hopeful elect from the true elect. That's going to be separated by that RFID market chip. That's why it says that if anybody worship the beast, the image of the beast, or get his mark, those same people going to suffer that nuclear destruction. So when Yahweh Shai said, let the things that belong to Caesar be rendered unto Caesar, but the things of the Most High be rendered to the Most High, you know, Yahweh Shai wasn't just talking about money. Ultimately, he was talking about judgment. All right, so also too, just to mention, I'm live right now, but when I get back home, I'm gonna take both of my lives, I'm gonna edit it and join them together, so it's one lesson. But all right, so, and when you get the RFID microchip, you now what? Now you belong to Caesar, who is Esau, the so-called white man, and I'm gonna show why. All right, so now we're gonna go to the book of Exodus, chapter 21. And it's funny that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that he mentioned the money of Caesar, the money of the so-called white man, as a tool of division. That's why he sent it a microchip, using a white man's money, his digital token, as a tool of division to further divide up the people. So Exodus, we're going to get 21. We're going to read verses 1 through 5. Now these are the judgments which thou set before them, if thou buy a Hebrew servant. So we reading the laws if you buy a Hebrew servant. Now other nations can't buy Hebrew servants, but we can buy ourselves. Now, for example, if we poor or if we homeless, we could be a servant to one of our fellow brothers of the nation of Israel, so that we can not be homeless, have a place to stay, and food to eat. Just a little backstory. Let's continue. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free of nothing. So you can only buy a servant, Hebrew servant, for 6 years at a time. Hey, in that 7th year, that man should go free. The year of Jubilee. You know, the Lord does things in 7, you know, a complete cycle, completion, you know, the work being finished. Let's continue. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. So you could buy a man as a servant, and if that man is married, you would have his wife as a servant as well. But at that 7th year, when that man is set to go free, his wife should be set to go free with him. But we getting to the point right now. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons and daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. So if a man buy a servant and the master give that servant a wife, and that wife has children, when that man is set to go free that 7th year, the children and the wife gotta stay with that master. All right. But this is the point right here. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. So there's actually in the law where a servant can say, I love my master so much, I don't want to be separated from him. I'm not going to go free. Well, the point is the next verse, verse 6. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost. And his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And that's what an earring is. So if a man didn't want to be separated from his master because he loved his master, he would be seen by the judges and he will bore out his ear. And what it means when you bore out something, meaning you carve a hole in it. So in other words, he would pierce his ear, and he would be given an earring, probably with his master's name or something. I don't know the specifics, but pretty much once he get his ear bore out and he had an earring with his master's name, he would be to serve his master forever. Now let me go to the BLB on something real quick. It's a word that I want to look up real quick. So in all, it's just a boring instrument. You know, he gonna have his ear pierced with an instrument that will carve a hole into the ear. So let's read that again. And if a servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost. And his master shall bore his ear through with an awl. He shall serve him forever. So in the ancient world, having your body carved into to receive or a master forever. So when Yahweh Shah said, let the things that belong to Caesar be rendered unto Caesar, and the things that belong to the Most High, let that be rendered to the Most High. Well, how do you belong to Caesar? It's when you get your hand bore out and you get that RFID chip carved into your hand. Because what? And what are you actually saying when you get that RFID microchip, whether you know it or not? You are saying plainly, I love my servant, my wife, and our children, and I will not go out free. Because the Lord is coming to break us of our bondage, to break the yoke off our neck, to break us from the bondage of Caesar, Esau, the so-called white man. And I'm going to show that in the book of Jeremiah real quick, chapter 30. All right, Jeremiah chapter 30. I'm gonna start at verse 8. We're gonna go straight to the point. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and I will burst thy bonds. And what's that yoke? That's his money system. That would be the yoke of the heathen when you read the second book of Maccabees. The tributary, the tax, the bills, being subject to payments, that's the yoke of the heathen. That's the yoke that's got us joined unto Esau, the so-called white man. And how's the Lord going to break this yoke? By causing the dollar to crash, the economy to fail. Because that's the only reason we go to work. That's the only reason we deal with Esau, because we need money to take care of ourselves and our families. Well, when there's no more money, we really got no more reason to be joined unto Esau or to this system. But when the Lord crashes his dollar, you know, Esau gonna bring a digital dollar, a digital token in the form of that RFID microchip. And what he's trying to do, he's trying to re-yoke you. And when you look at a yoke, it was a chain that was put around the necks of wild animals. They put that on us. Well, when the Lord crashes the economy, it's like the obligations. We got no more bondage. You know, we free, no debt. Well, Esau gonna try to re-yoke you or put them chains back on your neck to join you back to the economy by the RFID microchip. So when the Lord break the yoke from off our neck, when the dollar crash and you go and get the RFID microchip, what are you ultimately saying? You are ultimately saying, no, damn, I done lost the page. Let me go back to it. Oh, damn, I'm dropping stuff. Hold on. Exodus 21 to 5. So when the Lord crashed the economy, crashed the dollar, you go get the RFID microchip so you can continue to function in the white man's economy. Ultimately, you saying, I love my master. I will not go free. And saying that, I love my master, I will not go free, we read back then, they going to bore out the ear with an awl. And you're going to be given the earring. So that's going to be a token or pretty much a badge of servitude. Saying, you see my ear? I got my ear bore out. I got the badge of my master, the earring with his name on it. I love my master. I'm going to be joined to him forever. I will not go free. Well, when you get the RFID microchip, it's the same thing. You're not getting an ear bore out, but you're getting bore out, getting your hand pierced to get the RFID microchip. That's like you saying, I love my master. I will not go free. I'm not going to be separated from my master. I'm going to be his servant forever. So this economy that we serve, the white man by, it's a temporal servitude. That we will only serve this place just for around 400 years. When you read Genesis 15, 13 through 14, 13 through 15, and they shall afflict them, and they shall serve them for 400 years. So this servitude to this money system is only temporal, but servitude to this digital beast system that Esau is converted to, that would be a servitude that lasts forever. So again, when we read Revelation 13 to 16, and he calls of all, both small, great, rich, poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in his forehead and in his right hand. How are you going to get the mark in your right hand? Your hand is going to be bore out. There's going to be a sharp device that pokes a hole into your flesh. And then you going to what? You going to get a token or a badge of servitude injected into your hand. And that's going to be what? A digital slavery. So again, if you get the microchip, when you get the microchip, this is the reasoning behind the microchip. When we read Exodus 21 to 5. And if the servant, which would be you so-called Israelites, which would be you so-called Negroes, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, you Israelites, this is the reasoning behind you getting the microchip, whether you know it or not. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife and my children, I will not go. Then his master, Esau the so-called white man, or Caesar, shall bring him unto the judges, and he shall also bring him to the door, which are the FEMA death camps, or into the door post. And his master shall bore his ear. Well, Esau is going to bore your hand. He's going to pierce your hand with an awl. What's the modern day awl? It's the needle. The instrument that's used to feed stuff into the body. All right, his master shall bore his ear, but in this generation, he's going to bore your hand with an awl, with a needle, for he shall serve him forever. And Esau ultimately knows this, that if we pierce the people and we put a badge of servitude inside of their body, they, by law, according to this law, they got to serve us forever. So when the Lord says, let the things that belong to Caesar be rendered unto Caesar, you know, it's not just money. Ultimately, that's going into judgment. And ultimately, that would be judgment for those who remain to be yoked unto Caesar by this RFID microchip. Because the Lord, again, is breaking the yoke off our neck. And if you get the RFID microchip, that's a digital yoke. You putting the chains back on your neck to be joined to your master because you love your master and you don't want to go free and you want to serve him forever. Like when the Lord, when he broke, I believe was a Peter out of prison, it was an earthquake, the guards were asleep, the doors came open. In the spirit, that's what the Lord doing to us. He's breaking us out of this prison, this money system. Hey, that's why it's a term known as wage slavery. You know, you a slave to the wage. Well, the Lord come to break us out of prison, but when you get the RFID microchip, it's like you walking yourself back into prison, putting the chains back on your neck, putting the handcuffs back on your hands. You're like, no, I don't want to go free. I want to stay in captivity. So when the Lord says, render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, well, and the Lord used a penny, a token. Well, the Lord gonna do the same thing back today in the form of that digital token, which would be the RFID microchip. Again, if you get that RFID microchip, the Lord is gonna render you unto Caesar. And what does it mean when you be rendered unto Caesar? Well, the Lord is gonna separate the sheep from the goats, divide up the nations. So if he's rendering you unto Caesar, he's counting you as one of Caesar's children. He's going to number you among the Edomites. You know, for getting that RFID microchip. And because ultimately go free is because we're going to show that. We're going to go to the book of 2 Kings real quick. I'm hearing stuff. All right, so we're going to get to the book of 2 Kings real quick. Second Kings, we're going to get 18, we'll get verse 21. We're going to show that if you get this RFID microchip, you're pretty much saying you love your master, you don't want to separate from him, and you trust in him. And we're going to show more of the reasoning according to the word. You know why people are going to get the microchip, whether they know it or not. 2 Kings 18 and 21. Now behold, thou trustest upon the staff of this bruised reed. Now what's a broken staff? What's a bruised reed? Something that's damaged. And what's damaged? Well, the American way of living. And particularly what's damaged? It would be our economy. The dollar has taken many blows. You know, everybody abandoning the dollar, leaving the dollar behind. That's the broken reed in this bruised system. You know, because the US dollar is on a decline. So again, now behold, thou trustest upon the staff of this bruised reed. And we're going to prove that it's actually talking about the US dollar. Because it says, even upon Egypt. So Egypt, more specifically America, which is known as spiritual Egypt, is that broken staff and that bruised reed. Hey, because America is falling apart. It's damaged because the US dollar is being phased out. All right, let's continue. On which, if a man lean, what does it mean when you leaning on something? Well, if you lean on the wall, you trust that wall is going to be your support and hold you up. If you walk with a limp and you got a cane, you trust you can lean on that cane to support you and hold you up. And how are people being supported and held up by Egypt? This bruised reed, this broken staff, this system that's falling apart. Well, it's the US dollar. You know, our people know and believe that every first of the month, they Section 8 gonna kick in. Hey, whatever week of the month, they get their food stamps, they know they gonna get it. What else? Child support. They know they gonna get their taxes at the first quarter of every year. That's what? That's Egypt. That's you leaning upon Egypt. Trusting in Egypt, more specifically, the strength of Pharaoh, which would be the US dollar, to hold you up. Because you can't fully support yourself. So you're trusting on this system to support you. Well, this system is falling. And what happens if you lean on the wall and that wall collapses? You're going to fall with it. Well, what happens if you lean on the glass door and that glass door fall. You gonna fall on the glass door and your hand gonna get pierced. That's what 2 Kings 18:21 is saying. This very same place that you leaning on for your support, when this place collapse, you gonna fall with it, and you gonna be brokenhearted, faint-hearted, and you gonna F around and get your hand pierced. All right, let's show that. Let's read it all the way through. Now behold, thou trustest upon the staff of this bruised reed, even upon Egypt, which is spiritual Egypt, America, on which if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So yeah, leaning on this place too hard, you gonna fall with it and get your hand pierced by too much. They might take my video down, but you're gonna get your hand pierced by that sharp object, because that's the order. Hey, this system gonna fall. Hey, and then everybody that's trusting the system so much, they're gonna trust that the system can come back to life and flourish. Well, they gonna be joined into the system by getting their hand pierced for leaning, trusting on this place too hard. So when you get the microchip, the reasoning behind it in the spirit is that you love your master and you want to serve your master forever. You know, whether you know it or not. Exodus 21:5-6. And pretty much a token or a certification that you never want to be separated from your master will be having your ear bore out, having your ear pierced, to have a badge with your master's name on it. So when Yahweh said, render the things that belong to Caesar unto him, well, that RFID microchip, hey, that belongs to Caesar. It's his technology. It's going to be linked to a certain UPC, which is a Universal Product Code. Hey, it's going to have a certain radio frequency so that it can be picked up off these 5G towers. So these RFID microchips, they're going to be your digital identification. They're going to know who chip belongs to who by what specific radio frequency it emits and by what UPC number is attached to it. All of that pertains to Caesar, Esau, the so-called white man. So when you get the RFID microchip, the Lord is going to render you unto Caesar when he separates the sheep from the goats coming into judgment. Well, the first major separator was his word, because it wasn't given to everybody to know this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Well, the next major divider of the people amongst the nation of Israel is going to be what? That RFID microchip. Because we read Revelation 13:16-17, he's going to cause everybody he can to get the RFID microchip. He's going to enforce it by not allowing the people to buy and sell the necessities needed for life. And then what proves that the RFID chip is a separator or a divider of the people is when we read Revelation, the 14th chapter, the 9th verse, which we going to our memories. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead and his right hand. So we see, again, the way this verse opens up, it says to anybody that get the mark, that worship the beast and the image of the beast. It's calling out those people only. So that's what? A divider and a separator. The Lord is speaking to those who get that mark, that digital all. You know, that eternal badge of servitude, because that's what the microchip is. It's no different when you go into work, you get a badge, and that's what you clock in with. Or that's no different than you getting an RFID microchip. That's a badge of servitude forever. So again, Revelation 14:9. If any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. So the Lord is speaking to them. It says the same. So those very same people shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High Yahweh. So that's why the mark, not only was the word sent to divide the people, but the perfection of that division is going to come by the trials and tribulation, but ultimately that hour of temptation. You know, that's going to tempt all flesh on the earth. Because again, it's people that worship Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah with their lips, but their heart is far from him. Well, those people whose heart is far from the Lord, hey, they gonna break and get that RFID microchip. And when you're doing that, you're doing what? You separating yourself from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, and you being further joined unto Esau, the so-called white man, unto Caesar. All right, so now we're gonna go back to what was we at? Mark 12:13 through 17. And they sent unto him certain of the Pharisees and of the Herodians to catch him in his words. And when they were come, they say unto him, Master, we know that thou art true, and carest for no man, for thou regardest not the person of man, but teachest the way of God in truth. Is it lawful to give tribute to Caesar or not? Shall we give or shall we not give? But he, knowing their hypocrisy, said unto them, Why tempt me ye? Bring me a penny, that I may see it. And they brought it, and he saith unto them, Whose is this image? And superscription. And they sent unto him Caesar's. So what's an image? An image would be anything that's carved out, made by hand. Back then, during the time of Babylon, what was the image of Nebuchadnezzar? It was a golden statue made by hands. So what's the image of the beast today? Well, who is the beast? Esau, the so-called white man. But what's the image of the beast? What's the thing that Esau created, formed, and fashioned with his hands that he's going to cause the people to bow down to? And when you bow down to something, that means you submitting, you surrendering. Well, people are going to bow down, submit, surrender to that RFID microchip. And Esau going to try to force our people into submission by starvation. That's why it says that no man might buy or sell, save he that got the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So again, bring the microchip right here. Bring the microchip right here. What did Yahweh Shah say? He said, bring me a penny. Well, bring the microchip. Whose image is it? Meaning, who made it? Whose fingerprints is all on it? Esau, the so-called white man's. Well, also too, and superscription. Whose writing is on it? Esau, the so-called white man. It's going to have the number of the beast, which is the UPC number, the number of the white man. That's how the white man numbers everything through the UPC number. Your vehicle got a vehicle identification number. That's the UPC number. Your driver's license got a barcode on the back. That's associated with a certain UPC number. Well, these microchips are going to have UPC numbers as well. So whose microchip is it? Who shaped, formed, and fashioned it? Who designed it? Who put it into mass production? Whose radio frequency is it? Because the Lord don't operate on these low frequencies. Well, whose UPC number is it? Who's going to implant it into your hand? Esau, the so-called white man. So that's why the Lord said, therefore, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to Yahweh the things that are Yahweh's. So those things that belong to Caesar, the Lord is going to hand over to Caesar in judgment. But who are they that belong to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah? His elect. That's why the Lord said, I pray for them, I pray not for the world. Well, who is he praying for? The elect. That's why the Lord goes on to say, for they that thou hast given me are mine, and they are yours. That would be the elect. That's why Matthew 24:31, it says, and the Lord shall send his angels with the sound or the noise of a loud trumpet to gather his elect from the four winds. So the things that belong to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, the Lord is going to gather that at his return, manifested by us being beamed up to the chariots. But the things that belong unto Caesar, Esau, the so-called white man, hey, the Lord is going to leave behind. Hey, because the Lord is only coming to take what's his. He don't care about nothing else. And at the Lord's return, if you found with that digital wall, that RFID microchip that got bored, pierced into your hand, hey, the Lord gonna liken you unto Caesar. You could be joined unto your oppressor. Hey, because the Lord gonna say, hey, they don't love me, they love their master. Remember? You said you love your master, you want to serve your master forever, seeing that the Lord is breaking us free of this bondage by having the economy to crash. Well, people want to stay in bondage, and that's gonna be accomplished by the RFID microchip. And the RFID microchip ain't gonna never come out. Because it's not gonna just be the RFID microchip. Elon Musk, Neuralink brain chip. They want to put all kind of microchips in your skull. Then you give it some more time, they're gonna have more reasons to put more microchips in you. So the Lord said, the things that belong to Caesar, render it unto Caesar. It's funny that the Lord was talking about the money, because in this same generation, before his return, he's gonna use that very same thing in judgment. But it's not gonna be a physical penny, it's gonna be a digital penny. And again, the things that belong unto Caesar, render it unto Caesar. Back then it was a penny, now it's the RFID microchip that's gonna have the digital penny. So when Yahushua said that, that's ultimately going into judgment, ultimately separating the sheep from the goats. You know, the word has already done it, hey, but we need something more to further divide up the people. Hey, because the Lord already know who his sheep are, you know, by the Spirit. Well, we need something that manifests in the flesh that finalizes that separation, that division. That's gonna be the RFID microchip. That's why that's gonna be the last thing that happened before the missiles are shot off. And I believe in the Spirit that those missiles gonna be, I believe in the Spirit that those nuclear missiles gonna be attracted to the RFID microchips that's gonna be implanted into the people. So everybody that get that RFID microchip, the Lord gonna have a missile with your name on it. And Shalom to the sincere, diligent, beautiful brothers out there in London. Mashak, Yahweh's messengers, Shalom Makia, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Barakatah. And Esau is setting the stage to bring that RFID microchip to pass. That's why when we go to the book of Job, we gonna get 16 and 2. We gonna get 16 and 12. Hold on, Job 16, 12. All right, here we go. I was at ease, but he had broken me asunder. He had taken me by my neck and shaken me to pieces and set me up for his mark. Yeah, and let's break this verse down real quick. It reads, I was at ease. So we are at ease right now. We can freely go into the store, buy and sell, in and throughout America and the rest of the world as we please. You know what I'm saying? So there's nobody really controlling our transactions as of right now. There's no way to control who buys and who sells. And you can do that at your own luxury. So right now, we at ease. You know, everybody is eating and drinking according to the best of their ability. But let's continue. It reads, but he have broken me asunder. He have taken me by my neck and shaken me to pieces. Well, how is the Lord going to take us by the neck and shake us to pieces? By pulling back all the food and water. Because remember, he wants us to bow down and surrender to the image of the beast. Not a golden statue that Nebuchadnezzar built, but to his RFID microchip. That's the image of the beast. It ain't just a microchip, it's this whole digital system. So Esau want us to bow down and submit ourselves and surrender to his image, to the RFID microchip. He wants us to bow down and stick our hand out so we can give our bodies as a living sacrifice to this digital system. Because once you get the RFID microchip, these 5G towers gonna pick you up and you're gonna be linked to the internet. Esau gonna be able to track all your movements and see everything that you do with your life. So he gonna shake us to pieces and break us to pieces by trying to force us into submission. And he's gonna force us into submission by starvation. That's why he said that no man can buy or sell. Because, you know, you can take away all the luxuries we got. The only thing you need to survive is food and water. So that no man may eat or drink, except he who get the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So Esau gonna break our neck break us asunder and shake us to pieces by trying to starve us to death. Putting back all the food, all the water, have us running for our lives, us being brokenhearted, not knowing what to believe in, knowing what to trust in. And that's why at the end of the verse, it says, I'm gonna read it all the way through. I was at ease, but he had broken me asunder. He had also taken me by the neck and shaken me to pieces and set me up for his mark. So ultimately, weirdos. So ultimately, Esau gonna try to, that's why Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. So Esau gonna try to break our people, both mentally and physically, and force them to get the mark that way. That's why it says they broken me asunder, took me by the neck, shaking me to pieces. And in the verse it says, and he set me up for his mark. So this whole persecution, affliction, the great tribulation is prepping the people for the mark. You know, when people done had it. You know, I don't care no more. I just want to eat. I just want to drink. I just want to be at rest. I just want to be at ease once again. You know, prepping the people for the mark, it's a mental game. That's why at the beginning of the verse, it says, I was at ease. We at ease right now. Where that persecution is coming, that's going to be Esau setting you up for the mark. Then let me see what else we got. This might be about it, but okay, we got a couple more. Isaiah 33:13-15. So again, when Yahushua said, bring me a penny, whose image is it? Whose superscription is it? You know, and they said Caesar's. Yahushua said, the things that belong to Caesar, render unto Caesar. The things that belong to Yahweh, you know, let that be gathered to the Most High. Well, that's not just talking about money, tax, and tributary. Ultimately, that's talking about judgment. Because again, at Yahushua's return, he's going to gather his elect, those who belong to him. Everybody else that don't belong to him, they're going to be left for dead. And those of our people who get that RFID microchip, that badge of servitude, because, well, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua gonna leave him here in the earth when those nuclear missiles come. And that penny back then was Caesar's penny, the white man's penny. But in this generation again, that penny is a RFID microchip. So the same thing that Yahushua brought and said, let this go to Caesar and let this go to the Most High. Hey, that's what the microchip gonna do. Because remember, Habakkuk 2:5, Esau trying to gather unto himself all nations, he put to himself all people. So he want to gather all people by the RFID microchip. Well, that RFID microchip is going to be the same tool of the vision that the Lord uses in judgment to separate the sheep from the goats. So those of our people who get that microchip, you finish. You're going to be numbered amongst the goats. You're going to be numbered with the wicked. And that's going to bring us to the book of Isaiah 13-15. Every one that is found should be thrust through. Every who? All you Edomites. Because this chapter or that passage is talking about the father Lucifer. So every one that is found shall be thrust through. Let's continue. And every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Everyone that's joined unto who? Everybody that's joined unto Caesar, who is Esau, the so-called white man. And how you? That's why the Lord said, bring me a penny, whose face on it and whose writing is on it. The things that belong to Caesar, render that to Caesar. So those of you who get Caesar's microchip, the Lord gonna let you be joined to Caesar in judgment. You know, you get his mark, you get the mark of Caesar, the mark of the beast, Esau, the so-called white man, you're gonna be punished with Esau, the so-called white man. So let's read that again. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined to them shall fall by the sword. Hey, so when you get that microchip, that's you yoking yourself onto Esau's digital system. And that's why Proverbs 11 and 21, which we gonna get real quick. Damn, is that even right? 11 to 21? That's Psalms. That's why the Lord said, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. So Esau, the white man, can try to hold your hand and speak up for you. He's still going to be punished with the wicked. And vice versa. You could be an Israelite trying to save Esau. Well, the wicked is still going to be punished, no matter how much you try to save him. But since you hold his hand and you joined to him in the spirit, well, you're going to be punished with him. That's why Isaiah 13 and 15 said, everybody that's joined to him. If you joined to him in the spirit by loving your master, your oppressor, or joined to him by his belief system, his doctrines, you're going to be punished with him. Hey, in like manner, if you joined to the Esau physically, you're going to be joined in the Esau physically by getting that digital token, that RFID microchip, and planted into your hand. Well, you joined in the Esau in the flesh, you got his mark inside of you. Exodus 21 verses 5 through 6. You love your master and don't want to go free, and you want to serve him forever. So you joined in the Esau in the flesh. So you're going to be left with him in judgment. All right, so in about 3 minutes, I'm going to try to bring out a little more information. So when we go to Revelation 13 to 16 in the Blue Letter Bible, we're going to show how the mark lines up with Exodus 21 verses 5 through 6. And when we get the word mark, which is charagma, it reads a stamp, an imprinted mark. Mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. So this would be a badge of servitude that you serve Esau, the so-called white man. It also reads a mark that's branded upon horses. It says a thing that's carved, a sculpture, a graven work. So yeah, the microchip was carved out with a small piece of metal, and it's going to be carved into your hand. My phone's still recording? Okay, bet. So that lines up with Exodus 21 verses 5 through 6. Let's read that again. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost. And his masters shall bore his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. So, yeah, in the Hebrew laws, if a Hebrew wanted to stay with his Hebrew master, he would get his ear pierced and receive receive a badge of servitude in the form of an earring, probably with his master's name on it. That's a badge of servitude, signifying that you belong to your master. Well, Revelation 13 to 16 in the Blue Letter Bible, when you go to that word mark or charagma, one of the things that came out, it says get this microchip carved or pierced into the flesh. Now we're going to close it out right here. We're going to get one more thing in the BLB. So when we go to Revelation 13 and 18, when we go to the interlinear, we're going to go to that word 666. And that word 666 is Kishi stigma. Now, Kishi stigma, is the phone still recording? Battery low. Okay, so Kishi stigma is a compound word, meaning it's two words in one. So when we go to the root word, which is stigma, let's see what that means in the Hebrew. So again, 666 in the Greek is a compound word. She side stigma, but the root word is stigma. So when we get the word stigma, this is what 666 is really going into. It could mean the barcode, but when you go deeper, it's actually going into the RFID microchip. So it reads a mark pricked. Let me read this over. A mark that's pricked in or branded onto the body. And what's the RFID microchip? It's going to be pricked or pierced into the body. That's why when you go to the doctor and you get medicated, I can't say the word, or any form of preventative medication, they're gonna say, hold your breath, you're gonna feel a little prick. You're getting your flesh pricked. Read that again. 666, Revelation 13 and 18 in the Blue Letter Bible. She cites stigma, go to the root word stigma. A mark pricked in or branded upon the body. So the RFID microchip is a mark that's going to be pricked into the body, branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or stamp of their master. So yeah, you're going to have the name or the stamp of your master. Esau, the so-called white man, bore or pricked or carved into the body. Let's continue. Branded or pricked. What's another word for prick? A cut. Your flesh is going to get cut. That's why the Lord told us you should not make any markings or cuttings in the flesh. The Lord said you don't make any cuttings in the flesh because he knew in the final days that the RFID microchip would be received by having your flesh cut into. So the Lord was, warning us way back then. All right. So slaves bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut unto their bodies to indicate what master they belong to. So when we get the Esau's microchip, the white man's technology, pricked, you belong to him. That's why Exodus 21, 5 and 6, you can say, I love my master, I will not go free. I'm going to serve my master forever. That they bore the ear with an awl. Well, you're gonna get your hand bore out, your flesh cut into to get the RFID microchip. Let's continue. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the tokens of their gods. And what's the token in this case? It's not Caesar's penny no more. It's an RFID microchip. So you get the token of Caesar, the token of Esau, the so-called white man, which is that microchip, you making him your God. That's why Yahweh Shah said, let's go back to it, then we're going to close out there. All right, so Mark 12, we're going to get 13. We're going to start at 15. Shall we give or shall we not give? But he, knowing their hypocrisy, sent unto them, why tempt ye me? Bring me a penny that I may see it. Yeah, in this generation, bring us a microchip. Yahweh Shah was a prophet. Hey, we prophets following after Yahweh Shah. So if anybody got the microchip right now, bring the microchip. Bring me the penny that I may see it. And they brought it, and he said, for to them, whose is this image? Who designed, shaped, formed, and fashioned, and mass-produced that microchip? So whose is this image and superscription? And they sent it to him Caesar's. Yahweh Shah answering sent it to them, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's. That's not just talking about tributary tax money. Ultimately, this is going into judgment. So to those who get Caesar's token, his digital penny, pricked, cut, branded into their bodies, the Lord is going to render you unto Caesar. Can't say that enough. So again, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to Yahweh the things that are Yahweh's. And they marveled at him. So that's the two main separators. Lord said he's going to separate the sheep from the goats. Well, the sheep will be the elect, those who hear the voice of the Lord, that follow him in the regeneration. Well, everybody else that's not the sheep, well, they would be what? The goats. Meaning they what? They belong to Caesar. And because everybody drunk of the wine of the daughter of Babylon. So one way or another, they're joined under Caesar. All right, so all right. Hey, shalom to everybody that tuned in with me. Don Solo. The water to the brother Don Solo, the water. That's thank you in Hebrew. I thank the Lord that he was able to give us his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And that's why Yahweh Shah said, don't what do you say? Damn. Pretty much Yahweh Shah said, don't boast at the miracles that you're able to do, but celebrate that your name is written in heaven. So I'm able to teach, you able to receive the teachings, hey, that's a good chance that our names is written in heaven. You know, if we able to endure into the end in this truth. And that's what Yahweh Shah said, or I'm sorry, I believe it was, dang, I forget. I forget if Paul said it for some reason. I'm thinking about Jeremiah. If you boast in one thing, boast that you know Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. And how do you know Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah? By having this standing, this understanding. But yeah, Esau always effing with the live. But hey, Shalom to all the sincere brothers and sisters that's tuning in. Honest to the brethren that's laboring. I gotta get on the road. All right, till next time, Shalom. I can't see shit. Hey, stop at the high rate.